I want to show you how to build a squeeze page with the funnel kit. So basically just an overview how to use the program, plus on top of that, how to create a beautiful page. So I'm going to start off in a funnel kit Go, and I'm going to click new campaign. So I already have a few campaigns here, but I'm going to start a new one. So I want to build, let's say, okay, I'm going to build a satellite view, road view campaign, a dynamic map. And what I do, this is how I create pages right from the start. I just click save and close, and I give it a name. So the name can be GeoDemo, right? Save, and I have GeoDemo, and I click view. So it opens up in a new page, and I can see that the geomap is already here. Now, what I can do is I can click the preview, and it will do pretty much the same thing. However, I don't really like seeing just portion of the screen as a preview. So that's what I do. When I edit the pages, I always click save, and I just open up in a new tab, and I click refresh every single time I save it. So I can see exactly how the page looks like inside, how it will look like for the end user. Now, let's go into the layout tab. I'm going to click next. Now there are a few settings here. Either I can go for the full width or box width layout. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a text tool. I'm going to add a text tool, and let's call it demo text. Demo text. Gonna click save it, and I want you to see the difference that it makes. Okay, so as you can see at the top, we have a main container. I can actually add a little bit of spacing from border, 20 pixels, so you can see exactly what happens. So as you can see, this is our main. This is our main container. It's white. It's full, full width, and it has got 20 pixels from the borders and from the borders of the container. So what you can do, you can select box width. And what box width will do, it will set to I think 960 pixels of width, right? Now it's in some occasions it's still a little bit too wide, right? It's still too wide. Now what you can do, you can draw from the top, let's say 50 pixels. We're gonna draw from top, and I can make the round borders and can show you how it looks like. Okay, so I dropped from the top, and it has got now round borders, so there starting to shape very nicely. However, what I want to do in this in this demonstration, I want to create a really narrow container, like twice as narrower than this one, and just have all all the data in that one. Okay, so what I want to do, this is how a little bit of workaround what you can do. You go into the layout and you click no background for the layout, and you uncheck round borders. You don't have any of this, right? So you have no background for the main container. So if I go here, this is what happens. The text remains, but there is no background for the main container. Now, what I can do, I can go into the content, drop one column, and I drop the text inside of the one column, and here I click the wrench, and I can again select whether I want to go for the full width or box width. Now I'm going to select box width, and I'm going to select 550 pixels. This is the width of the box, and it's going to be centered. So the background color of the box, I want to go for a very dark one. So let's say 1D, 1D, 1D. And make sure you uncheck no background color. So it's got background. Now the padding, this is spacing from borders. I'm going to select 20. I'm going to click save. Okay. So I want to show you how this looks like. Oh, by the way, in the layout, make sure you uncheck the spacing from border to 0. Right? So let's see. There we go. We have a demo text, and this is way narrower than what it used to be, right? So I can even make it a little bit more narrower. I'm gonna make the padding. This is the spacing from borders 10, and width 500 pixels. Right? I'm gonna save this. Refresh. There we go. A very narrow, very cool looking box. So let's build things on top of that. So I'm gonna click here, and let's say we know that you live in city. Now what it will do, it will change the city into the geographical variable. So as you can see, there are a tip at the bottom here, and it says you can use country, state, city, date, time, IP, and browser. Now, if some of these will not be available, for example, not all of the IP addresses are listed in the public IP database that FunnelKit is using, so it will say, we know that you live, and it will change city. If there is no city, mapped to the IP address, it will say your city. So it's going to say, we know that you live in your city. Okay? So country is going to be changed to your country, state into your state. That will happen if the IP address will have not, will have no, variable map to it. Okay? But in this case, you're going to see that everything works just fine. Now it's going to work like 95% of the times. So I'm going to center the text. I'm going to select the font size, let's say 32. Want to select the text family into Java 1. And I'm going to click the custom color, and I'm going to grab some pretty yellow. There we go. Okay, let's see how that looks in live view. Okay, it says, we know that you live in Vilnius, and that is my city. That's, where I live. So it's got a background here. So if you will be from, let's say, San Francisco, so it's going to show San Francisco at the bottom here. Now, if you're from New York, it's going to show New York. If you're from Auckland, it's going to show Auckland. Okay, so very, very easy. So it says, we know that you live in Vilnius. Actually, I'm going to just keep it just like this. And then I'm going to drag a new box. New box again, or actually I'm going to copy the previous box because I want to have almost the same settings. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to remove the element from it. And what I want to do, I want to change the color, make it a little bit lighter. Okay? And I'm going to drop the text tool and say something like, and that's great, because we said we know that you live in Vilnius, and now I'm going to say, and that's great, because this system will work in city. Just enter your details below to learn more. Okay, I'm going to center it, maybe italicize it, gonna make this 18, a little bit too big, 14 punts. Points, not punts, and gonna make, let's say, white, and change the font family into bottle. Alright, let's see how that looks. Okay, that starts to shape. Now I want to increase a little bit padding, so it's a little bit further from the top and from the edges. So padding, instead of 10, I'm gonna click 20. 20, 20, 20, right? Okay, I'm gonna refresh. Okay, it says now we know that you live in Vilnius. Now I'm gonna just add exclamation mark here, let's say. And a few things that are missing now. We're missing the opt-in form and some sort of the copyright statement at the bottom. And that's what I want to have, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to add a vertical spacing tool here and going to increase the vertical spacing, let's say 20 pixels. And I'm going to add the text here saying copyright Emilius Strimitis FunnelKit Go, something like this. Custom. I'm going to select the color, let's say 1D, 1D, 1D. Font size 8, maybe 10, 10. Center it, make it rubato, save it here, and let's see how it looks like. Alright, so we have the copyright statement here at the bottom. Looks good. I'm going just to decrease the vertical spacing so it's not that far away from the box. Okay, there we go. Now the only thing that's missing is the opt-in form. So what I want to do, I want to grab, I want to add my opt-in form into the opt-in tab here. So I already have a form prepared somewhere. Let me just find it. Aweber form. There we go. There we go. This is my Aweber form, so I'm just going to paste it in here. I'm going to enable custom styles. And what I want to do, I want to show you exactly how I'm building the form. So I'm going to go into the content and drag the opt-in form right below our text tool. Oh, by the way, a cool tip, if you, as you can see, you cannot see text here because it's white. So once you're editing, this is what I like to do if I have like white text, right? So I just select like gray background, like I just select like a gray highlight. So while I am editing it, it will have like a gray highlight in the back. And once I'm done to publish the page, I just click here, highlight the text, and I remove the highlight. So it just stays like this. By the way, when you're building a page, make sure, and we can always use this collapse the editor, so it will show exactly how your page looks like. So for example, that you live in, and then we have a text here, and then an opt-in form. So everything just kind of you get a quick look of what you can expect from your page. Okay, so just hide the editor. Now let's save the page and see how it looks like. Okay, so we have our text and we have our opt-in form. Now it doesn't look very good right now. Okay, so we want to change a few things. We want to actually increase the spacing between the text and the form. So I'm going to do that right now. Here, 10 pixels. And so let's see how that looks like. Alright, so that's a little bit better, but let's increase it to the 20 pixels. Oops, I just dropped it somewhere else. 20. Okay, let's go for 20. See how that looks. Right, that looks way better. Now, what we want to do, we want to go into the opt-in form and change a few settings here. Now, as first thing, I want to just remove that white background here for the form itself, or the form body. So I'm going to click no background. I'm going to save this and let's see how it looks like. Right, that looks way better. And I had the form, this is the form width, 400 pixels. So everything you added below, for example, you had the width of the fields, let's say 450, it will not fit because the form is only 400 pixels, right? So you want to increase the form width. Now, take sorry, take in consideration that our columns here, they are 500 pixels each, right? And they have the padding of 20 pixels. So that means that there's the box. Let's say this box is 500 pixels. That means that 20 pixels will be taken from one side. Sorry. And 20 pixels will be taken from the other side. So you will be left with 460 pixels of working space. That's 460 pixels, from one side to another. So that is the maximum that you can have for the opt-in form, 460. So I'm going to just enter 460, and I'm going to make the fields 460 as well, or maybe 400. Fields for the 400. I'm going to increase the field size by 35. Going to increase the padding of the fields, and let's see. So far, I'm going to just save this and look, let's see how that looks. Okay, the fields are way bigger. I have increased, the size, the padding, all of the good stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to increase the font size, for the text inputs. Okay, so text inputs. Let's see. Let's decrease. Let's change the color and let's increase the font size. Let's say to 18. And make it italic. Okay. Let's see how that looks. There we go. It's way a little bit more cleaner. Now what I want to do, I want to increase the button size and add a spacing between the button. Margin top, that's the spacing between the button and the fields, and the margin bottom is between the opt-in form and another element. Okay. So I'm going to just have 10 and going to change to yellow, continue, or maybe green, continue, and 400 pixels. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So this is our opt-in page. We have built it in a matter of minutes, while I was explaining, things for you. So what I want to do, I want to just make it a little bit off. I just want to make this copyright statement bolded, so it just stands out a little bit more. Let's see. There we go. And what the final thing that we want to do is final touch. Inside of the final touch, we want to give a page title. So let's say marketing system available in your area, something like this. Now I can have meta keywords and meta description, but since I'm going to be using this for paid traffic, so that is not really relevant for me. Now I also can have like exit messages, though I'm not going to add them in this in this demonstration. What you want to do though is, if you're not using any of the geo data, for example, in this case, I'm using like city variable here, I'm using the map background in the back. So if I'm not using any of those, what you want to do, you want to come here and disable geo